The US government just updated the food pyramid, and the message is basically, we are declaring war on anything that tastes good and has a mascot. I'm going to translate what changed, what's actually useful, what's a little confusing, and what this means if you're a normal adult with a job, a kid, and a back that hurts for no reason. I'm not a nutrition monk. I'm a busy adult with opinions. This new pyramid is tied to the Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030. It dropped January 7th, 2026 from HHS and USDA. And no, I didn't read it for fun. I read it because my life is full of painful experiences. And I love you. Here's the normal person summary. Protein at basically every meal. It's based on your body weight. 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram per day. Bodybuilders will recognize that number. The I'm in my protein era phase is now federally recognized. Dairy is in. They explicitly call out full-fat dairy with no added sugars, and they give a sample pattern with 3 servings a day. So yes, cottage cheese is now a government-sponsored hobby. Fruits and vegetables stay big, and they acknowledge that frozen and canned do count, which is good because I don't have time to hand-pick produce like I'm in a Whole Foods commercial. Whole grains are still in, 2 to 4 servings a day. But they want fewer refined carbs, and they're way more direct about avoiding highly processed stuff. They even call out flour tortillas, which feels like the government rummaged through my fridge drawer and took it personally. And the big headline: avoid highly processed, salty, or sweet packaged foods, and avoid sugar-sweetened beverages like soda and fruit drinks. So RIP to the national beverage, iced sugar. And this isn't just a cute triangle they made in Canva. These guidelines shape a bunch of major federal nutrition programs, like what ends up being served in government feeding contexts, school lunches, etc. So if you're thinking, who cares? The answer is a lot of people who are about to be eating based on this. Now, 2 things can be true. The shift toward eat real food is long overdue. And some of the messaging is a little weird, especially around fats, and the part where they give a side eye to diet soda. And then my biggest question. If you're lower middle class or below, and food is expensive and time is short, how are you supposed to eat like this? Because if the plan is just buy salmon and fresh berries every day, I have news. That plan was written by someone who has never stood in a Walmart checkout line at 9:47 p.m. holding a crying child and a rotisserie chicken. All right, before the internet turns this into team protein versus team carbs versus team I don't eat food, I eat sunlight, we need to define one thing. When the guidelines say avoid highly processed foods, they're not saying all processing is evil. Like frozen broccoli is processed, Greek yogurt is processed, even peanut butter is processed. Nobody is out here milking almonds by hand at dawn, okay? They're talking about foods that are packaged, ready to eat, and salty or sweet. The stuff that's basically engineered to be easy to overeat. If it's nacho flavored, but it's technically not food, not a nacho, and not flavor, congratulations, you're in ultra-processed land. They've moved from eat in moderation to I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. And also, stop drinking your calories. Now here's where it gets messy. The guidelines say incorporate healthy fats, and they correctly say prioritize oils like olive oil. And then they add other options can include butter or beef tallow. And that's where normal people stop reading and go, say less. I will now drink melted butter in the parking lot like it's a wellness shot. I'm not saying butter is the devil. I'm saying butter is a fat add-on. It's a flavor enhancer, not a food group. And also, the pyramid is not saying carbs are dead. It literally says prioritize fiber-rich whole grains, but reduce highly processed refined carbs. And yes, again, flour tortillas catch a stray. So the takeaway is not never eat carbs. The takeaway is stop living on refined carbs and snack foods and liquid sugar. Okay, so is eat fewer ultra-processed foods actually supported by evidence? Or is this just a government mood swing? Let's do the fastest science breakdown you've ever seen. There's one study I'd like to point to because it's so controlled it basically feels unethical. Like, welcome to the nutrition dungeon. NIH took 20 adults, kept them in a clinical unit for a month, and for 2 weeks they ate an ultra-processed diet. And for 2 weeks, they ate an unprocessed or minimally processed diet. And here's the wild part. The meals were designed to be matched for stuff like calories presented, macros, sugar, sodium, and fiber. And participants could eat as much or as little as they wanted. What happened? On the ultra-processed diet, people ate about 500 more calories per day, ate faster, and gained about 0.9 kilos, or around 2 pounds, in 2 weeks. Then on the unprocessed diet, they lost about the same amount of weight. So the takeaway isn't processed food is poison. The takeaway is ultra-processed food is easy to overeat, even when you're not trying to. It makes our lizard brain go, oh my God, this is so convenient and delicious. I should continue doing this forever. And your body's like, amazing. I will now store this for the long winter ahead. Which makes the avoid highly processed, salty, and sweet packaged foods message pretty reasonable. But then they also take a swing at non-nutritive sweeteners. And that's where I'm like, okay, relax. You paying attention to the world lately? Parents need some diet soda in 2026. Now we get to the part where the guidelines basically side-eye non-nutritive sweeteners, like aspartame, sucralose, stevia, and ACE-K, aka diet soda territory. The new approach is, ideally, don't do added sugar, and also don't do fake sugar. And I'm like, okay, I understand the goal, but we need to be adults here. If you're already drinking mostly water, congrats. You're God's favorite. But if you're drinking regular soda or sweet tea every day and you're trying to cut back, diet drinks can be a bridge that actually works. Because here's the real world choice most people face around 2:30 p.m. Option A, water. Option B, regular Coke. Option C, Diet Coke. And the internet wants you to believe that choosing Diet Coke means your gut microbiome files for divorce and your hormones join a cult. Meanwhile, in reality, diet soda is usually a way better move than liquid sugar every day. It's 2026. Parents have jobs. They obviously have kids. They have chronic stress and a knee that clicks. Dads need some diet soda.
I thought you were trying to lose weight.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Now, should you drink 9 diet sodas a day and call it hydration? Probably not. But if diet soda helps you quit or massively reduce sugar drinks, that's normal person health math that gets my vote. And speaking of normal person reality, here's the part that pisses me off. This only works on paper if you ignore what food actually costs in 2026. This pyramid acts like everyone can just do this. So let's talk money. Because you don't think people who are lower on the socioeconomic ladder don't want to eat like this? Nobody's like, I can't wait to eat gas station dinner again tonight. This is always what happens with nutrition advice. It's written like everyone has a grocery store 5 minutes away, a kitchen that isn't a junk drawer with a stove attached, time to prep, cook, and clean, and the emotional bandwidth to play Tetris with macros after putting kids to bed. And if you don't, the advice turns into simply make better choices. Oh my God, thank you. I hadn't thought of simply. Ultra-processed food is cheap. It's everywhere. It's shelf-stable. And it's fast. That's not because people are lazy. It's because people are tired and broke and trying to survive a Tuesday. And real food isn't just more expensive. It's also more likely to spoil, more likely to require cooking, and it costs time. Cooking is basically a second job. And remember, this pyramid isn't just for the government's social feed. It shapes programs like school lunches. So if the guidance is out of touch, it's not just annoying, it's policy. So if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I would love to eat protein and produce all day, but my grocery bill is already a crime scene, you're not failing. The system is just pretending constraints don't exist. All right, so the new food pyramid is basically protein and real food up top, ultra-processed, salty and sweet packaged stuff down, and sugar drinks get f***ed. And overall, the direction is good. Here's what I would not do. I would not read this like a religion. I would not take butter and cheese are pictured as permission to turn dinner into a dairy-based sport. And I would not let anyone shame you because you used diet soda as a tool to quit sugar drinks, or still choose to drink them because you like them. Some of us are just trying to get through a Tuesday without violence. Bottom line, if you only remember 3 things, cut sugary drinks most, if not all days, protein first at least 1 meal a day, breakfast is the easiest win, make real food easier than snack food. That's it. You don't need perfect. You need doable and repeatable. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, because I'm going to keep translating complicated health stuff into normal person language and occasionally defend diet soda like it's my constitutional right, which it is. Thanks for checking out Bottom Line. I'll see you next time.